Good afternoon. I'm Rob Johnson, CEO of the Billiard Congress of America. I want to begin by wishing you and your families good health during this pandemic. While I wish we were all in Las Vegas today for day one of the 2020 BCA Expo, we all know this was simply not possible. Welcome to our third webinar of the Business of Billiard webinar series, sponsored by Legacy Billiards, and for participating in our BCA Virtual Expo. Please enjoy today's seminar and make sure to visit our participating exhibitors' virtual pages to learn more about their products and pricing specials. The activity during the virtual expo has been amazing. Just a couple minutes ago, we hit 600 registrations. We've had more than 1,143 messages that have been exchanged between attendees, exhibitors, and seminar speakers, and then more than 69% of you have downloaded the event app. Please continue to engage on the community section of this website. This is a small industry, and the more we can help each other out, the better. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a couple housekeeping items. You will be on mute throughout the presentation. If you have a question, please type it in the question box in your chat area at any time. Reminder that your chat area looks like a caption above a cartoon character. All you have to do is type your question in that chat area, and Lynn at the end of the seminar session will answer your questions. We also want you to know that we are recording this session and we will post it on the BCA virtual website. I'd like to now introduce today's speaker, Lynn Switnowski. Lynn is a regular speaker with the Billiard Congress of America and brings with her more than 20 years of experience working in management roles with Fortune 500 companies, including Liz Claiborne, Aramark, and Reebok. Today, she'll be discussing the need to incorporate social media into your sales efforts to stay relevant. I do want to go off the script a little bit here and discuss this question from yesterday's seminar in mitigating COVID risk for your business. The question was based on how long our seminar speakers thought that the pandemic was going to last. The answer they gave was 6 to 12 months. But what you will hear today is something we are all figuring out, and that is that we will never return to the quote, old normal. Customers will never purchase the same way they did 6 months ago, and this change was happening even before the pandemic. Please use today to motivate yourself and your company to use social media to not only promote products, but also to sell your products. Before we get started, I would like to present you a brief message from our webinar series sponsor, Legacy Billiards. Thank you.
$98.6. We realize in today's world, this number has taken on a more important meaning, like the ideal body temperature of a person walking into your store. However, it has a different meaning for Legacy Billiards. 98.6 is the percentage of in-stock product Legacy Billiards has available for our dealers for the last 18 months. What does this mean for you? It means your salespeople can confidently sell Legacy brand products and know they will be available for immediate fulfillment. After all, it's tough to make a sale when your customer hears they have to wait 8 to 12 weeks to get their products. As a Legacy dealer, you have access to the widest variety of in-stock products and largest selection of in-stock finishes in the game room industry.
Hello, I'm Chris Gould, President of Legacy Billiards. I invite you to contact us today to learn more about our BCA specials and 2020 new products, including a new 9-foot rustic Baron shuffleboard, new amazingly priced 7 and 8-foot Baron billiard tables, and an outdoor shuffleboard table called the Emery that will blow you away.
So when I opened that window initially, it just asked me, do I want to transfer money from RBC account to another bank?
Lynn, you're on.
Okay, sorry, I didn't realize. There we go. Show my screen. Here we go. Hi, everybody. It's Lynn Switnowski. Thanks for being here today. I see some familiar. I was going to use the word faces, and I might have to do that. Familiar faces or names on my screen, and I am happy to see you all here. I'm happy to see that you are participating in this show. And let me say this, Rob hit it on the head. He stole my line, which he's more than welcome to do. But what we're going to talk about today is the new normal. And if you have attended one of my sessions or a marketing session at another show, a BCA show, you've heard me talking about this topic for a very long time. It is absolutely critical that we all understand what is going on with marketing, with consumers today, whether it's COVID or not. Customers have changed, and what they want from you as a retailer has changed. Certainly, it was forced to change during COVID, but it's going to change afterward for a multitude of reasons. So let's jump right in and talk for a second about what your customers are using. And I could actually start this session by talking about all of you. Let me say that. How many of you have a device, have a phone, right? If you've seen me talk before, you know I have it right here. I grab my phone and I talk about the fact that mobile is where everybody is today. Browsing mobile apps, using it for directions, for lookup, for texting people, making mobile payments, doing mobile shopping, and it only continues to grow. Just take a look at the statistic. 73% of all sales on e-commerce will be made on a mobile device by the end of 2021. And what that means even more is that your business can be seen as an opportunity for you to showcase your business to customers in the palm of their hand. And that may seem ironic to you, but I've been working with you guys long enough to know that when people started selling pool tables in other venues, whether that was big box stores or they first started selling them online, and that shook everybody up. And now we're going to sit here today and talk about how many different ways can you, as a retailer, sell to customers. So what I'd love you to do is to keep an open mind and talk about how you can meet your customers where they are. All right. So let's talk for a second about how to do more business using what I call social media as another cash register. If you attended the seminar Monday, you heard me talk about your website as your store number 2, doing online sales as your store number 2. And I don't mean that you open a second location, but in your mindset, if you were to say that my online sales are part of a new dynamic, are part of a new way of me thinking about customers being able to get product from my billiard store, okay? And that was online. If we were to get the same mindset for all of you to say, social media is another cash register. And I gave the description on Monday about what I call a digital salesperson. Imagine your best salesperson that you have in the store, and all they do is answer questions, talk to customers via social media, and ring the register because of what they're doing on Facebook, on Instagram, on Pinterest, on WhatsApp, on Facebook Messenger, on what they're posting to the website, on events they're hosting. It is absolutely possible. I would suggest to all of you, and maybe because you're here, you know, you're not the ones, you're saying, okay, I might need to do something different. But what does it take for you and your business to have a dramatic change of thinking? That in fact, the front door, I used to kid around and say if the front door was locked, what would you do? Many of you, we just went through, the front door was locked. Were you prepared to connect with customers? Did you connect with customers in a way that was meaningful? If not, thanks for being here. We're going to talk about a lot of different ways you can do that. So I would urge you all to think about social media as another cash register, as another tool to get customers in and out and through your business and to ring up sales. Let's talk about ways you can do that. But first, I want to make sure you all understand when you hear the term social commerce, what does that mean? So we've talked for years, and many of you are doing a much, much better job than ever before about communicating with your customers on social media. You post pictures, you post videos, you run contests, you ask questions, you answer questions from customers on your social media. That's fantastic. That means that you've engaged your customers via social media. But now I want to talk about one more thing, and that is what I call social commerce. And by that, I mean taking it to the next level and communicating to your customers that they can buy directly from your business via a post, via a tweet, via a video, that there is some link between social media and they can purchase directly from where they are. I call it the news feed here. Think about it. You are scrolling on your Instagram page personally. You like to follow other businesses. It could be businesses that you're passionate about, could be people that you like to follow, or it could be your competition. Now, there is a way for, if you were to see them and follow them, there's a way for you to buy a product that they're showing directly from a Facebook page, directly from an Instagram post or an Instagram story. That is called social commerce. Think of it this way, two ways to really sort of put it in perspective. I can now buy from inside my store at the cash register. I can now buy, I put up a tweet, I put up a poll the other day, whether I call, whether I text, whether I email you. Now, the ability from a social media post to click on a link to buy from your billiard business. That's social commerce. New tool, new venue, new cash register directly through. That isn't your website per se, right? So you don't all have to set up a Shopify store. You don't have to have an e-commerce store, a website that sells. You can sell via social media. So let's talk about why that matters. Again, we had lots of problems with customers coming into the store because they couldn't get in, right? But if you think about the specifics of how many people are now working from home, are now perusing the internet multiple times a day, multiple ways, whether it's on their lunch hour, whether it's, at the end of the day, there is much more viewership on social media today. And you, as a business, as a billiard business, getting to communicate and to sell to that customer creates another version of trust. Let's circle back. All right, and I'm putting my face on the screen so that you can all hear me and pretend that we are together. This is the new together. This may be how we see each other for a while, but I want to make sure that you see how emphatic I am about understanding that customers absolutely trust you. You are an expert at billiards. You know the business. You know what to sell them, right? That is why they walk in the front door. They trust what you say. The communication to social media is just taking that same information and putting it on your social media pages. They still trust what you say on your Facebook page. They still trust what you say on your Instagram page. And those are the people that know you. The bonus here is that you can meet new people who you've never met, who are now locked down at home and saying, oh my God, this is really driving me crazy. I want to have a entertainment, facility in my house. I don't even know where to go. I've never looked at this before. I spend a lot of time on social media. I follow a lot of my friends, and they keep talking about XXX billiard store. Now I go on, I see what they're doing. Now communicating the same information about what a great store you are, about the great products you sell, about how much you know is all on your social media. And therefore, they link to buy from you. That is a leap of faith for many of you to believe that a customer can have a meaningful relationship with you without having met you. And I know that is a leap of faith. We've talked about it for years. Okay, but the bottom line is we couldn't go into stores for months and we survived. We got what we needed. Think of it the same way for your customers. So you have to communicate. Social commerce is just the next generation. You create trust, you develop a deep relationship. It is all about community. And it is about the last one here. It is about convenience for your customers. Maybe not for you, because now I'm going to ask you to do some work and to put some content out there and to create ways for the customer to buy. But if you are truly a customer service organization and you understand that your customers want you to be there for them, then you're going to have to think about engaging in social commerce. What is most convenient for your customers now? And how can I get you? That's my big job today. And frankly, I promise you, I will speak to you forever about this. You can call me anytime. We can talk on the phone. We can write letters and email each other. But how do I convince you that what is convenient for your customers makes you a better retailer in their eyes? Okay. So thinking about why social commerce works, right? And then I want to make sure that you hear me say, it's not just for the kids, right? Every generation, yes, the millennials, yes, Gen Z, but look at the Gen Xers, 35 to 54, a real sweet spot for you. They own a home, they need, home entertainment products. You have what they want, and they are very, very comfortable shopping online. You become more convenient. Same thing with baby boomers. All of you that said, oh, nobody shops online. That is not the case. My mother-in-law is 86. And she shopped all during COVID online, had her groceries delivered. I'm sure many of you have the same stories. And I don't think an 86-year-old is maybe buying a, home entertainment or buying a billiard table. But what I want you to think about is the mindset. It is much more convenient. I had to learn how to shop online because stores were closed. Now that I liked it. It was easy. I didn't have to worry about traffic. I could sit in my living room. I could sit in my PJs. I could do it with a cup of coffee. I could get my questions answered because I had a live chat with someone. I did a video walkthrough at a store. It came, they set it up, they wore a mask. It was perfect, right? So consumers' mindsets have changed. Therefore, we need to get you thinking about it. And like I said, it's not just for the kids. So let's talk about ways we can do that. What does it look like? Obviously, you hear me mention social media. You hear me mention Facebook and Instagram. That's an easy way, and we'll talk about that in a minute. It is all done via mobile. It's all really easy to do, right? You can buy the goods directly through the platform. And I know some of you have spent lots of time and energy building your websites, and maybe you can shop through them. And if you want to keep linking people there, but understand, I didn't talk about it in this session because it's really still in what they call beta testing. But Instagram is moving to direct purchases in Instagram. And why that's a game changer is they're trying to keep people on the platform. And by that, they're saying, hey, buy what you want from your favorite retailers, from your favorite brands, but don't leave our site because we want you to keep shopping. And oh, by the way, we keep selling you ads. So that will be a game changer when you're mostly never leaving Instagram. You can already stay right on Facebook. And some of you may be concerned about credit card information. I understand that, but that is pretty much between the security that's going on out there. That has become a kind of non-event. The other key is that generationally, the Gen X, the Gen Ys, and the Gen Zs are so used to paying for everything via their mobile device, via Apple Pay, Venmo, PayPal, that they're very comfortable with that use, a mobile device for payment on something. So that barrier has already been taken away. I think you'll hear most of that from your older customers who may not be as comfortable, but certainly anybody that's under 35 or 40 that doesn't carry cash in their pocket will have no problem buying from you online via your social media. So let's talk about Facebook for a second. And again, when I talk about Facebook, most of you by this point have Facebook pages. You've been to this person, me seminar, you've been to other people's seminar, you understand what it looks like to create an engaging Facebook page. And now it's the next step of converting a looker on your page to a shopper. So let's talk about how you do that. You can, if you do not want to set up an e-commerce website, you can set up a Facebook shop. And I want you to see how easy it is, that the entire 4 steps are here for you. That's right, 4 steps. You set up a Facebook shop. Couple of prerequisites. You must have a Facebook manager account. Simple to do, very easy to do. Okay, but once you set up a Facebook business manager account, you can set up a Facebook shop. You can use their templates or you can create one of your own. your logo, your colors. You can customize it, or you can use one that Facebook has for you. And then you go on and set up the shop tab, and you add in Commerce Manager what products you want to set up. That's it. Open the page, set up a template, open the shop tab, figure out what you want to sell, and upload it. The key is once you upload, and this happens to be, I do a lot of business in the pet industry, so this is one of my pet stores, and this is what they're calling their social store. So their idea was to sell key items that it was a quick buy, it was a reachable price point. What could you sell if you wanted to test this concept for your billiards business? The things that come to mind for me, balls, chalk, some supplies, table supplies, some never outs. It could be ways to fix things. It could be key pieces. It could be gloves. It could be low risk pieces. You could also put in cues, right? And you could set up a whole different range of cues, different weights, different sizes, different lengths, right? Different price points. Again, you can see here, you can shop by category. So you could set your entire page up by category. And then the key is now that, and think of this as what I would call a library, much like if you have a YouTube page and all your videos are stored there. Once you set up these pages with pictures that, by the way, you're at a trade show. When you go to speak in the, with your virtual appointment with the people at this trade show, ask them what kind of imagery that they can give you. This is probably 100 by 100, so you can set up for your Facebook shop. And every person you talk to, when you set up a new brand, when you bring in something new, you just continue to add your catalog of pictures. And then how do I ship it? Do I ship it to a customer? Do I have curbside delivery or pickup? Do I deliver it to their house? Do they want it shipped because they're out of sight or out of state? So there's lots of different ways that you can manage the process. First is test the concept, put a few items in there, and then the key is once your shop is set up, now you can go to your Facebook page and you can link this item in your shop to your Facebook post. You can link this item on your Instagram page. This is the library, and you can keep people between Facebook and Instagram. You can keep sending people back to the library where they can choose, and then you can ring the cash register. For payments, you can take PayPal, you can take Venmo, you can take Apple Pay, you can take a credit card. So same, you can't take cash. It's the only thing you can't do. But PayPal and Venmo are certainly, and Pay.com, they're certainly like cash today. So a Facebook shop would be your first thing. Again, that is what I'd call a repository. That is your product library where you will be able to sell on Facebook. If somebody wants to peruse your store, they certainly can. But more importantly, you can use the links and send everybody back here from your Facebook page, from your Facebook posts and videos, from your Instagram, which we'll talk about as well. So that's the first step, and it will not take you a long time to do, I promise you, because here's what happens, as I mentioned to you. That on this particular page, you see the pink handbag, and where it says Cameron Street Lane, that's a handbag, right? There is a price listed there because that item is set up in the Kate Spade Facebook shop. So that's what will happen on your Instagram page when you set up these items. So imagine that you have a pool cue in a picture, and I'll show you a really fun picture later on, and there is basically a pool table with pool cues and pool balls, and you could link all of the products in there to be sold. Okay, so I'm a big fan of Facebook. I appreciate some of you don't like Facebook, not a big deal. I like to keep it simpler for you. That's why I'm bringing it up. You can also use what they call a third-party shop partner, and you can set up a Facebook partner to set up your page, and that would be Shopify or BigCommerce. And the key is you're creating a catalog of products for your customers to browse, to buy from. So wherever you want to set that up, within a Facebook shop, using a Shopify. If you have a selling website already, you may be using Shopify or BigCommerce. You're already done. You can already link stuff there. So lots of different options, lots of different ways for you to do it. The key is, and whether or not you realize it as a what I would call a customer yourself, a consumer yourself, let me say this. Now that you see this picture on an Instagram with a pop-up that tells you how much something is and what the name of it is, and say to yourself, have I seen this before? Consumers today, whether you're a believer or not, consumers are very used to shopping this way, and it's very easy for them to understand. So when you see this, they know that I can click on that and make a purchase. Another thing to think about is it's another storefront, right? I told you, talked about store 3. This happens to be a post, not that this doesn't look like my dog, I'll be honest, that's why I put this picture in here, but this is selling the sheet sets, and this happens to be an Instagram story, okay? And the way you can tell that across the top is that there are dotted lines. If you are not familiar with Instagram, we need to get you on the Instagram program because there's lots of flexibility. And actually, let's take a moment right here. Mike, would you mind launching? We're going to take a little poll right here asking about Instagram so I can dig in and understand how much work we need to talk about here. Would you mind launching that poll? Let's see here.
There it goes.
Right. There it goes. Okay. So you should see on your pages now a poll, and that says, do you currently use Instagram marketing? Yes, no, obviously, and then I'm thinking about it, or never going to happen. So we got about 10 more seconds, just quick yes or no, or where are you thinking about it? And even if you're on the fence about it, what do you think about it for your business as of today? How about that?
We generally run these about a minute just to make sure.
Oh, okay. All right. Everybody run back to your computer. If you're listening to this, hurry up, run back to your computer, and you can take the poll real quick. You got 13 seconds left. Quick. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The no's are outpacing the yeses. Come on, yeses. Where are you? Okay. Last minute. Last seconds here. All right. We closed off the poll. So, Mike, can you publish the results? I can see them, right? But everybody can. Everybody see the results there? 27% of you currently use Instagram. 60% of you don't. 7% of you say, I know, I need to get there. I'm going to do it. And then 7% say, I don't see it as a tool for my business. Instagram is the #1 social media tool. So for those of you who are no's, and for those of you, and that's valid. I appreciate where you are with your business today. I would love to spend time on the phone convincing you that this is a worthwhile asset for your business. And the reason is, obviously, we talked about, being able to shop. We are in a visual society. We are in a visually ADD challenged society. Instagram has posts, Instagram has stories, and you can link a story, telling a story about anything you want to do with your business, about products that you sell, about people who work for you, about customer referrals and testimonials that you want to share with people. But it is an actionable and action-oriented social media page. The majority of posts on Instagram are video, and video is not just short form video, but long form video. Instagram TV is a way that you can put a 10-minute video out there. So for some of you who want to have events, activities, you want to do a how-to, you have a pool room that's attached, you could do Instagram TV and run an event or an activity and showcase it for people. It has a lot more video features than Facebook does. Not that Facebook doesn't, but Instagram Live is another tool. So it is a really, really viable tool for your business, and I would urge you to kind of dig in and understand much more about it. And again, as it relates to social commerce, it is a very, very powerful tool. This picture that you see here can be what your posts look like on your Instagram page. It's much, much simpler to understand. This is what it is. Go here, click to my website and make a purchase. So if you're thinking about integrating social commerce into your business, you really, really have to think about integrating Instagram into that as well. And I would say this, right? We talked about this the other day, but I want to make sure you understand. This is not brand new. Instagram certainly has been around for a while, but what is new is the viability of it as a sales tool, an even greater sales tool. And therefore, you need to think about who's going to do this. And I appreciate all of you are like, I don't have the people, I don't have the resources to do this. This may be something that you say, I need to allocate the resources and I need to understand that this is going to be a revenue stream for my business. So I'll get off the soapbox about Instagram. But again, it's not like I don't know all of you, and I understand that you are crunched for time and that you are crunched for resources. Many of you tell me you're crunched for money, and I understand that. But let me be clear, when there is a tool out there that is relatively cost-free, only if you want to advertise do you have to, and gives you access to connect with customers and sell, that seems like a win-win for everybody. So let's keep going here. I want to showcase this particular way of looking at an Instagram shoppable post. On the right is a shoppable post. Obviously, it's for Highland luggage. That's the name of the luggage, and you can click on there and you can purchase the luggage. On the left is something close, near and dear to your heart. I didn't pick anybody on purpose. I have no affiliation with this. This happens to be from the Fort Worth Superstore. The reason I picked it is it was absolutely one step short of being an Instagram shoppable post. There is a logo of the store. There is a logo of the brand in here. It is a great graphic, right? It's a good looking table. If this business had Instagram shoppable posts, had a catalog, whether it was on Shopify or whether it was on Facebook, and had this particular table in their catalog, they could sell directly from this. Look at those rows of cues behind, right, the table. You could set up 10 of those cues, take a great picture, and that could be set up as a catalog product shop. So there's really good graphics here, and one more step, and it could be a selling tool for this particular business. So it's not punitive. I just want to show you with a good graphic and a really simple message, you can sell. All right, so let's talk about how else. And another tool that some of you may have heard about is social media influencers. And in your industry, because there are so many people that are really good at billiards and they're champions and they're trick shot people and they brands sponsor them, there are probably a lot of people that you could get, and maybe there's a local person who would be your local celebrity. But influencers have an audience of people who follow them, who listen to every word that they say, who follow their posts on Instagram, who pay attention when they write a blog, and then maybe it's even linked from Instagram. An influencer is somebody who has eyes on their pages. If that influencer talks about your billiard store, you're going to get eyes on your pages. There's lots of proof that the influencer model is working. And here's the key. You don't need to find an influencer with 100,000 followers. You can find a very, what I call micro influencers. Think of it as small and mighty. A 5,000, person in your local community that is a junior who won a championship, or somebody in your state who is, who travels and who is a great billiard, or maybe it's even you, maybe you personally, maybe it is a pet like this one. Pets have a ton of influencer pages. So imagine taking a pet influencer in your local community and putting them in your store on a billiards, near a billiards table, being comfortable around a billiards. It doesn't have to be a ton of money. You could swap out the price of a billiard table and barter with an influencer and get a lot of attention on your social media pages. So there's lots of different ways that you can use influencers, small, but very, very targeted in your industry, in your town, in your state, to help you spread the word. And again, you can gift them products, you can barter with them. You could, I've seen people do a percentage of sales that are generated. I will tell you it's real. I shared the story on Monday. One of my clients had an influencer on their page, and it was an Instagram story that stayed for 24 hours. And you could see when the story launched, how long the story stayed, and when the story ended, because their sales went like this. And that's how quickly people respond. Think of it this way. Years ago, you were an influencer, but you didn't have a platform on social media. Your friends valued your opinion. They asked you where to go for things. They asked you what to do, what you thought, and you took their advice. It is exactly the same thing, except now that influencer is on social media and they have a much broader, larger audience that they can help your business. Some other ways that you can help spread the word and help get your sales going through social media. This happens to be J. Crew, right? But it's just a review. You take a product, a catalog shot from your Facebook shop. It is a cue. It is a set of balls. It is a rack. Something small, something big, and somebody had an opinion about it, and they wrote a review, a Google review, a Facebook review. They sent you a note and you converted it, right? It is somebody else talking about your business in a positive way so other people can see it. Customers' own words matter, and therefore you should try and incorporate that. That's just a really, really simple, right? That could be a great Instagram story. You have 10 customers who bought things from you, or you have 3 customers who bought things from you. You installed tables in their house. You've got pictures of the process. You put it out there, and the last story on Instagram, the last picture could be a video with the customer talking about how great it was and how wonderful it was and how, safe it was because everybody wore a mask and they washed their hands and they sanitized everything. That is information that is really, really powerful, means a lot to your customers today, and therefore can mean a lot to your business for selling. So reviews are another great way to drive commerce. I just want to spend, I know we're close to the end here. I want to spend just a couple minutes reminding you all, I know this isn't easy, and I know that I'm asking you to do things that may seem, out of your wheelhouse. That doesn't mean you can't hire somebody to help you do this. That doesn't mean you can't think about a new marketing expense for your business being, being a graphics person. That's, to me, a very, very valid use of money. And again, I mentioned it to you all like I did the other day. If you have I have a great sales description. It is a digital salesperson, somebody that can help you create content, that can help you create windows where you can take pictures, like this one is, where you can take graphics. I'll show you a great graphic in a minute. But good content helps expose your billiard audience to your business, and that's the key. Here's the image I was talking about before. Obviously, I don't think you're going to be able to afford Celine Dion as a model. But let me say this. This could be, if you had, and again, it's dramatic, and I know she's dramatic, but it's a great graphic. It's really attractive. There's a cue, there's balls, there's a table here, there's some decor lighting here. All of those things could be sold, right? You could, this is a Getty image, and again, I pulled a low res image to show all of you, but think about how can you be provocative? How can you, showcase what you sell with key graphics that really drive home the point. And then I want to leave you with this, the measurement piece, which we are sort of talking about here, is really critical as well, which is, what are you trying to get people to do? I'm trying to get you to think about social media as a selling tool, right? That's how we started the conversation. That's what social commerce is all about. But if you don't have an Instagram page, you got to back up. You have to start with, how do I get people to follow me? How do I create activities that get people to follow me? How do I make them enter contests, ask questions, share this information, right? So wherever you are in the process, keep checking on your analytics to say, is it working, right? If you don't have a page, you need to start with, how do I get people to follow me? That would be a great place for you to find an influencer and say, hey, we're launching an Instagram page. I would love your help talking about our page, running a contest, kicking it off, and I will do ... for you. We'll have an exchange, and therefore you get a lot of engagement really quickly from people, as long as it's the right audience. Again, a local influencer, a local champion, somebody that is just a customer at your store who happens to be famous. Maybe they would, are looking for something. Maybe that would help you. It has to be the right, authentic connection, but that would be a great way to start, building an Instagram audience. And then now that you have an audience, start posting those graphics, start talking about your linking it back. Do you need a refresh? Have you bought from us before? Is it time for services? You can sell services in your Facebook shop, right? If you have a tune-up, you can put together the pricing of a tune-up and sell it on your social media. Okay, and then talk about it on Facebook and on Instagram. So there's lots of different ways you can do that. Okay, so I have to tell you that's all I have for you. I have seen these, the hands keep raising, Mike. I'm not sure if it's just one or a couple questions, but my chat box is going off like crazy here. So I'm gonna leave time to answer questions for people. I wanna make sure if we don't, I think we have enough time to do questions, but Mike, you'll just let me know when we need to cut out, and then I'll promise I'll answer all your questions if I can, personally afterwards. Okay?
Okay, sounds good, Lynn. We do have a couple of questions. Again, this is a reminder to the attendees, if they have any questions, please type in the question box at your control panel, and we'll get to them. The first question is, should your Facebook and Instagram accounts be linked, and is it good to create both accounts at the same time?
So let me back up. Creating them at the same time. At this point, if you don't have an Instagram page and you don't have a Facebook page, yeah, create them both. Here's the key. If a lot of you didn't have an Instagram page, make sure that it is in relative alignment with what your Facebook page is. So if you are, Joe's Billiards Shops on Facebook, grab Joe's Billiards Shops on Instagram. If you don't have either, make it exactly the same. Find the name that's the same on both, because again, it's where customers are going to shop for you, and what you want it to be is easy for them to understand. So yeah, set them both up, make sure they have the same name. And if one name is available on one page and you're setting them up, find a name that's available for both, so it's the same. Second question there was about linking them. And my assumption is what you mean is, do I want to post the same thing? And the answer is no. And here's why. You can post the same type of content, i.e. the same message. But as I have said and will continue to say, people are different. I love Instagram. Here's my phone, right? I can scroll Instagram while I'm talking to you. If I was, quickly, right? This is how quickly people check. I'm going to check my Instagram page just now so you guys can see. But this is how quickly, right? I'm looking at Instagram like this. That's a post. But now at the top here, right across the top here, those are Instagram stories. Now look how quickly I can click through an Instagram story. Ready? So that is an Instagram story. So that's how fast I can go through. So you have to figure out how to make my story. Oh, there you go. Someone's selling something right there. So you have to make sure that you're doing you're putting content out there that's in the same vein. So because I can shop Instagram, right, and I can go pretty quickly through Instagram like this, and I look at a lot of pictures because it's pretty quick, right? And then how I go to Facebook is a little bit different, because here on Facebook, I just kind of scroll like this, right? So the reason that you need to make them differently is people read differently. So if I want to put a Facebook post, it should have a few more words, it should have a few less hashtags. If it's on Instagram, it should have many more hashtags. It should definitely be video 70% of the time. And you may or may not use that much, video on your Facebook feed. Hopefully that answers your question.
Right, perfect, thanks. We have another one. How do you find an influencer?
I would start by looking, use search hashtags. So I live in Austin, Texas. I don't know why I picked Austin, but I did. I actually live in Bar Harbor, Maine, but I picked Austin, Texas, and I hashtag Austin, Texas, hashtag Texas Billiards, hashtag Austin 8-ball. Sort of start there. And what you want to do is put in general search terms to see who is talking in that audience. And that's called listening. So what I'm really trying to get you to do is essentially search within the Instagram function to see who's talking about billiards in your local area, how they're talking, what they're talking about, and if in fact they might be helpful to you. One of my stores in Buffalo is a women's lingerie store, but they sell men's underwear. So their influencers for men's underwear happen to be sports people who play for the Buffalo Bills and who play for the Buffalo Sabres. And that's a good match, right? Because they're a little bit of a local celebrity. It doesn't cost them a ton of money. They give them free underwear, and that's how they share. So it doesn't, like I said, they don't even pay. They just give them free underwear. So you want to think about what you're trying to sell and how you're trying to connect. What does your billiard business focus on? Are you in the high-end business? Then I would look for an influencer who is in the high-end interior design, architecture, maybe high-end builders. Builders would be a great influencer because they're helping put together houses and creating spaces. And if a builder has a good, or maybe there's all these, and I don't want you all to think that I think HGTV celebrities, but there's all these, influencers in the home world. Is there somebody who's an influencer who happens to be from Austin, Texas, like we were talking about before? So you start with a search. But hone in what you really are trying to achieve. What do you want to gain, information to? And keep in mind, you might be the best pool store, billiard store in the neighborhood, and you've gotten a lot of kudos from local newspaper, from local press, you've won awards. Maybe the newspaper is a great influencer. Maybe you start responding to the local newspaper when they talk about local businesses. Maybe you reach out directly via a message to these celebrity designers, interior decorators, architects, builders, and ask them if they'd like to talk about a partnership. If you guys, I don't know if anybody has another idea, certainly if anybody has an influencer, you can certainly post in the chat box as well, and I'm happy to share how you got yours. Again, we're interactive here. We're at the VirtuALL seminar.
Perfect. Are there any other good social media channels besides Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah, there's a lot of them depending on what your timing and need is and how much energy you want to put in it. A lot of long form video is now going back to YouTube. So when I say long form, I'm talking 10, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So if you had a lot of video content that you thought was worthwhile, YouTube may be a good place. Twitter, clearly a lot of people get their news from Twitter. So that may be more of a kind of a quick hit informational place for you. The other key that many of you, and I don't talk about it yet because I want you to be there, but I don't think you guys are ready to do that yet, but the messaging sites. So WhatsApp, Snapchat, Facebook Messenger. People are using social media messaging sites to communicate. Another one, although we'll see, you may have heard of it, is TikTok. Again, these are all what I would call darlings of the moment. When I bring it up in terms of this group and presenting it to you is when I know that the darling of the moment can be turned into a sales tool for you. So I love messenger apps, again, Snapchat, WhatsApp. The question is, if you are undeveloped in your Instagram and you're undeveloped in your Facebook and you're not at 70% video in either of those, do that first, because that's the kind of content that works really well on messaging apps. And if you're not using video, you won't have any success with it.
Perfect, thank you. Next question, if you are an influencer, how do you contact businesses?
Again, I would say if you're an influencer in this group, you have to provide your reason for being. What are you really good at, and how can you help a retail billiard store sell products? You have to develop the story. You have to develop the storyline. You have to show them proof of concept. So I'm an influencer. I mentioned this about this, and here's what happened. I got sales, something happened, people showed up at an event or an activity, proving that people listen to you. But basically, you're going to have to prove the case of why you're the right person for that business. So I would suggest that you need to know a lot about the business in order to say that it needs to be something that the business carries, that the business would bring you on board.
Okay, and then that person did post themselves. They're with the Trick Shop Ministries, and they're a BCA member. So I posted that in the chat area.
Great.
Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions, so I think we'll turn it back over to Rob.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Great. Thank you, Lynn. So I just want to remind all of you that today's session is being recorded, and very good content. It'll be posted on the website. Show your employees this, pass it around, talk to other people. Everybody needs to see this video. This is so key for our industry right now. And I also want to thank Legacy Billiards for sponsoring this webinar series. Without them, this would have been very difficult to do. I also want to remind you to visit our exhibitor profiles again and watch their videos and take a look at their show specials. A reminder that at the same time tomorrow, we're going to have another session. It's going to be on pool rooms and how to stay relevant while they're either closed or they're operating under significant challenges. But just like today's content is useful for everyone, tomorrow's content will be useful for everyone as well. So take time to tune in and learn more tips and tricks from Lynn as we wrap up the BCA Virtual Expo. So I appreciate it. Thank you and have a great day. Take care.